Now, something a lot of bad wide receivers do is beat the drum. Now, what good wide receivers do is snap down. Now, fellas, the reason why you want to snap down on routes that require you to drop your hips rather than beat the drum is you're going to get in and out of the break faster, and a DB has less time to recover or react to our break. So let's say we're going to beat the drum, for example, at this cone right here. If a DB is running right next to me in man coverage, or maybe he's in off man coverage, his eyes are going to be on my hips. So if your thought process in terms of slowing down is I'm going to take a bunch of steps with my feet, I'm going to beat the drum with my hands, yes, you will slow down, but it's very slow. You're sinking your hips rather than having a violent drop of your hips. So as soon as that DB sees us start to slow down and we're wasting a bunch of time at the break with extra steps that we don't need, he's going to be able to drive on the break. So what we need to focus on doing is being violent with our hips, snapping down. So if I snap down with my outside foot, my hip drop needs to happen quick. I'm trying to slam my chin down to my knee and I'm trying to drop to a 90-degree angle, changing my center of gravity so I can make a sharp cut, but I'm eliminating wasted time. So I snap down, okay, I'm low. Now it only takes me about 2 or 3 more extra steps to get in and out of the break. So the reason why you want to snap down is a faster cut, you'll get back to the quarterback quicker, you'll get out of your breaks quicker, and a DB will have less time to recover when he sees your hips drop. Now, fellas, before we get into the rest of this video, if you're a wide receiver watching this or a quarterback and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we're traveling out to 15 different cities across the entire country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. So guys, if you go to that very first link in the description below, that is where you can sign up and get all the information. The next city we're coming to is San Francisco, California. Then we'll be heading out to Orlando, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Columbia, South Carolina. Then after that, we'll be coming out to Seattle, Washington, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Nashville, Tennessee, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Denver, Colorado, Columbus, Ohio, Boston, Massachusetts, Salt Lake City, Utah, and finishing it off in Los Angeles, California. So guys, if you want to sign up, want to get some more information, go to that very first link in the description below. Our first 3 camps, San Francisco, Orlando, and Phoenix, we only have about anywhere from 6 to 10 spots available, so make sure you take advantage of the fact we have open spots, but all of our camps will sell out, you guys, because we limit spots so we could actually work with you individually and one-on-one. So guys, take advantage of the fact that we have open spots now because they will start to go very, very quick and our camps will sell out. So again, very first link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. Now, another thing bad wide receivers do is just sell their releases with their head and shoulders. Now, something good wide receivers do is sell their releases with their hips. Now, fellas, the reason why you want to sell your releases with your hips and not just your head and your shoulders is because a disciplined DB, when he is in man coverage and you have to use a press release, is going to be keyed in on your hips with his eyes. That's what they teach DBs to look at because that essentially will tell the DB where the receiver is going to go. It's the phrase like your hips won't lie. But as a receiver, you can use that to your own advantage to help you sell your releases. So what I tell my receivers all the time is pretend like your hip is attached to your foot or try to get to a position I call being stacked, which essentially means your head, your hip, and your foot are stacked on top of each other in a column. So let's use like a crossover release for an example. Let's say I have a DB who's inside shade press, and what I want to do is I want to attack his leverage and release to the outside. If he's looking up at my head, my shoulders, that's easy money. He's not being disciplined. But if he's watching my hips and my hips don't move, but I'm leaning here, or I just give like a little bit of a head and shoulder fake, he's going to key in. He's not going to believe that I'm going to the inside, and he's going to carry me to the outside when I'm trying to take my outside release. So if I throw my hip with the second cut and I try to stay in that stacked position, that's more likely to get him to move and actually appreciate the fact that I'm trying to sell to the inside or respect the inside release. So guys, if you sell your releases with your hips, you'll be way more successful versus press coverage. Now, something that bad wide receivers will do is reach on their cuts. What good wide receivers do is cut inside their frame on the ball of their foot first. Now, there are 3 reasons why you don't want to reach on your cuts as a wide receiver. The first one is it gives away the route to the DB. So remember we talked about what is a DB looking at when he's in man coverage and he's guarding me. He's going to be reading my hips and reading my body language. So if I'm running at him, let's say he's in zone coverage or off man, and then right before I cut, I start to reach out and over-exaggerate my cut. What ends up happening is that a wide receiver's chest and hips will pop up, and that lets the DB know that we're no longer running a fade route and we're going to be making some type of cut. So he's going to get out of his back back pedal and be more likely to drive on the route that I'm trying to do. So that's number one. Number two, we're not going to be able to push out of the brake and actually accelerate out of my cuts, because when you reach, the first part of your foot to hit the ground is generally your heel. So if your heel hits and your toe slaps down, you can't push. So what'll happen is guys will drag, they take maybe an extra step or two, then they get out of their brake, which makes us slower, gives the DB more time to drive on what we're doing, and we're not out of the brake fast enough for what my quarterback requires. And then last but not least, you don't want to reach because you could hurt your knee or your Achilles like that. If you're reaching and you cut outside your frame at a high speed and your toe slaps down and God forbid your leg hyperextends, that's a great way to tear an ACL or seriously hurt your knee, your ankle, or your Achilles. So guys, I'm not saying to cut on your toes or just the ball of your foot, but the first part of your foot that needs to hit is the ball of the foot. Then your heel could go down, because now I have a position where I have a little bit more give to my knee. I'm not in an awkward position. I could push off that ball of the foot to get more speed, and I could maintain my body language all the way until the break, so I could sail vertical until the last possible second.